Welcome to the Jamodi podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it. You know, what's the toughest part or moment in your pro career?
Probably when I was in Brooklyn. Just I was dealing with a bunch of ankle injuries. My ankles, like after games, I had synovitis. Well, my ankles were just like swelling like crazy. And after every game, it's like I could barely walk. Couldn't play with my kids the way I was, used to. Couldn't have fun. I was playing bad because I didn't have any lift. I just couldn't do the same things that I was used to doing, and of course, I was on a max contract, so the expectations were there and I wasn't producing. So for me, it was just the first time where I started doubting myself,
Wow.
and so that was probably the lowest point of my career, where things were just, pretty tough.
Man, a player in your level. I mean, you've been a winner everywhere that you've been. You're an Olympian, I think, at that point,
Mm-hmm.
right? What did you do? So confidence is such a huge thing, and you see it in every sport. You see it in every level of your life. That confidence can you have your peaks and valleys. In that valley, what were some things you did to protect your confidence?
I just one leaned on God, prayed a lot, and I had a lot of good people around me. I think that kept things positive, and you know, and of course, I think one of the most important things is my kids. That unconditional love
Yeah,
they have for you.
it didn't matter how many points you scored, right? When you went home,
Yeah,
you
to
saw
them
that.
they don't care. So
Yeah,
that definitely helped me get through.
yeah, having that balance and being grounded. There are some times where high school comes up, and they ask me where I played. I say the Colony, and a lot of times your name comes that team that we had and everything. But I always tell a story of just you and in pickup. If I had to choose, because a lot of people in DFW know the name Bracy Wright also, and the cool dynamic that you guys had back in the day. But people, I'll tell them, if I had to choose, if I was choosing my team, I would pick you every time. And that's not a slight on Bracy, but what I always loved about you was your fight, your fire, and the fact that you hated to lose. So like I felt if I had you on my team for pickup that day, we might play for a long time. I
Hmm.
can't imagine at the point in your career where your ankles are hurting and that fight and that fire is still there to be excellent, how hard that must have been for you.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, honestly, I stopped loving basketball for a while.
Yeah.
It was just mentally tough to have those just like reoccurring injuries and just feel, it's kind of like you lose a little hope. You feel like, oh, it's always going to be this way. That just self doubt starts to creep in,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard to shake. It's hard to shake, especially in the middle of a season.
Yeah. And like you said, it's not like you're at the rec, the Colony rec where nobody's watching you play. You
Yeah.
got millions in expectations. So I'm curious about this because my career was short. You played for a long, long time, and so the love of the game for me, like I miss playing. I miss that part of it, but I didn't do it for nearly as long as you. It wasn't really a job ever for me. What's your love of the game? Like, where are you kind of right now? A few years, it's out.
So it's funny. So when I stopped playing, I kind of told myself I like hated basketball, right? Like it was like kind of like a mental thing where I didn't watch. Like the first year, I didn't want to watch.
Yeah,
Um, and then the second year, I didn't really watch. It started kind of like playoffs, started watching, and I never stopped loving it. I miss it. I still miss it. I miss competing. I miss being in the locker room. The only thing I don't miss is the travel schedule. You know,
travel schedule, injuries probably too.
that's
Don't
the
miss that,
injury.
but
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the only thing. But yeah, I definitely miss it.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.